Okay, we're here at Dockery Lake. We'll do the Dockery Lake Trail. It's gonna run, oddly enough, from Dockery Lake up to, I think it's Miller Gap. Yeah. So, run up there and back. See how this goes. 7 miles. So, gonna be a long one. What you gonna do? I know very little about this trail other than the fact that it starts here. I think there's some scenery to be had though. Gonna do a lot of climbing, about 3,000 feet over that 3.5 mile. So yeah, roughly 1,000 foot a mile, right? So it's gonna suck. They call it gradual in the book that I read about it. We'll see. So it's a pretty neat looking campground over that way. You can hear the cars and trucks around. People come here to fish this lake. So clearly there's fish to be had in there. I know nothing about that lake. I don't know if it's, I guess it's Forest Service maintained maybe. I don't know. I just need some pack time. Probably only got about, I don't know, 12, 15 pounds or so on my back. No food, just some snacks. Stopped and got a little bit of food before I got here. Very cool today. Only in the 70s, which is nice because it's been brutally hot. It's been in the 90s for days. Storm front came through and knocked down the temps, and today and tomorrow is supposed to be nice and mild. Today's primarily, like I said, in the 70s, high of like 84 today. But tomorrow is supposed to be like a high 84, but today is, I don't think it's gonna make it to 84. It might down in Atlanta, but certainly not up here. So I came from that way. There's like this little dock here, but there's a trail that turns off here, and this is Dockery Lake Trail and goes to the AT. So I didn't see this sign at first. I was gonna warn you, but there it is. So breezy, cool, and really nice out. So yeah, up we go. There's our blue blaze. So despite descending quite a bit to get to the lake, you can see across there that we're still a good ways up. So you climb quite a bit to get up the highway to get to the turn off the Dockery Lake, and then you descend down to the lake, but you still don't make up all that distance. So even though I've been hiking pretty much level right here, from back here it's been pretty much a level trail. A little bit of descending. There's still a good ways up. You can see through the trees there. We're got a ridge on the other side there. So yeah, we're still a good ways up here. I don't know how high the lake itself is, but at some point I know we're going to start really climbing. So while it's nice to hike this level and descending piece here, you know you got to pay for it at some point. Or maybe 3/4 of a mile, you come through here and dump out into like some double track. It must be an old forest road or something. Some interesting ground cover back there. Maybe I'll get a little footage of it on the way back. Really tiny leafed, like ivy. I believe the folks I saw at the trailhead are up ahead of me somewhere. I could hear them occasionally, I think. Could just be whispers in the woods. I don't know, but I heard something. But it opens up really clear under here, this section. When you dump out on this road, I don't know why, but it does. Opens up really wide. Well, see where it goes. Keep going. We've been coming down a good bit, or at the very least not climbing a whole lot, it seems. So makes me nervous because you know you gotta go climb. You gotta climb to get to Miller Gap. So this is some of the ivy I was talking about. It's really, really tight. May even be a type of clover. Because you know what, I don't know that it's got a vine, so it may be a clover. That was pretty interesting. I just heard a tree crash or break. Though my suspicion is there are people ahead of me, because I keep hearing things occasionally that sound like conversation, but not quite conversation. So I know some people headed out ahead of me. It didn't seem like the kind of people would be crashing trees, but something crashed. I think it's going to be human interference, so we'll see. Somewhere out there to my left. This could be a rotten tree, could be an animal tried to climb it and it fell. It's like the last bit of rhododendron blooms, maybe. Look beautiful. Some more up here. I think they had already bloomed and gone. Pretty cool. A few more down here. Some pink. Okay, to give you some idea where I am. There's the lake here. So all I've really been doing is more or less following these creeks, which is why I haven't climbed a whole lot. The AT is up here in red, and I'm going to this point right there where that little bubble is with the Y. So I've got at least 200 feet I'm going to climb, maybe more right here to get up to this ledge, and then I got another ledge I got to climb. So needless to say, I got some climbing. I don't know how clear that's going to be, but I got some climbing to do. I know it's going to come eventually. It's been too easy going. They say, I think there's 3,000. I don't know. That doesn't make sense. The book I said 3,000, but that don't make sense. Maybe they meant you climb to 3,000 feet. I don't know, but I have to go back and do some reading on that and figuring on it. Somebody's up ahead. I've heard somebody do a hoot or something. So maybe those folks are up ahead of me. Big tree crash I told you about earlier. I think that's wind. That wind's blowing. It may not have been those folks at all. It may have just been wind. Wind's been blowing. If anything's getting ready to fall, it's going to fall. So even when I sat down here, I looked up. Make sure that tree wasn't ready. It's kind of opened up on the other side there because the trail is up here. When you walk down through here, you kind of see, bam, you're like down into this gulch here. But it's kind of open on the back side of that, so there may be a bigger gorge or something on the other side of that. I don't know. Anyway, taking a break, and I'm going to head on up. Of course, 5 minutes later, I come to this beautiful creek I could have been sitting by. Oh well. Mosquitoes are taking advantage of the cool weather to move around. Starting to attack me pretty good through here. I don't know what's different about here except for that creek. Maybe that's it. Well, the sun came out. Hasn't been out hard at all. In fact, this may be the first time I've seen it today. Real pretty place through here. I guess lots of runoff coming off the hillside. And then of course the main creek here. It's like two branches coming together here. One here, one here. Oh yeah. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So this trail's been largely benign to this point. And there you go. Let me be clear. The trail has largely been benign to this point. This point right here. We'll see how long this lasts. Just past 3 guys heading down, laughing and giggling and acting a fool. Told them there was no laughing, giggling, and enjoying yourself on this trail. That was right out. Had this been a steeper climb, I would have had to sight them. Because if you laugh and giggle going past somebody who's struggling, it's like right out. By the way, those steps back there didn't last long, so fingers crossed. So far, the climb to this point has been relatively mild. I guess it's a long, gradual climb, so there's may pitch up yet, and I'm sure it probably will. But I'm probably easily 2/3 the way in, and there hasn't been a proper climb yet. Okay, so after I say there's not been a proper climb, that really was a proper climb. You come up this climb here, you come to this little opening, little camp spot, and keep going. That was a climb. It wasn't bad, but it was definitely a climb. Where are you out? It's all double track. This is like an old roadbed, and then you got this turn. It's still double track going that way. So a lot of runoff goes through there. Not a lot of debris though. Wasn't a bad climb. Got to be getting pretty close to Miller Gap, I would think. All right, Dockery Lake and the AT. AT's coming right here. There's our white blaze. Heading back this way. Met 3 people who headed out ahead of me. We talked for a good bit here. Nice people. And asking me questions about the AT and different hikes and stuff. And one of the guys is really wanting to do the AT Georgia section. I told him, just do it, man. Just do it. You got to make it happen. Sun came out up here. Very breezy. Temps aren't too bad though, as long as the sun goes back in. But yeah, had me a little goo pack and make my way back down. The climb up, the last bit of climbing here, it's actually not bad right here, but the double track section just beyond here, there's kind of a last little quarter mile or so. There's some climbing, proper climbing in there for sure, but not bad. Nothing steep at all. So Dockery Lake is something to put on your list if you don't want something that's too strenuous. In my opinion, it's largely benign. So, relatively speaking, I mean everything's relative, right? All right, gonna head back. Still making my way down Dockery Lake. Hiked with 3 young folks that had headed out ahead of me. I think they're like Indian, really nice. He does a lot of hiking, kind of getting into it. Kind of like me, his friends don't hike much, so he talked them into coming. So yeah, started hiking back together. They needed to slow up. The girl that was with them was wanting to slow up, so that, or they're just throwing me a hint like, hey man, don't you need to go on ahead. You look like you're late for a buffet. So needless to say, I went on ahead. Alright, we're back at the lake. This guy's almost caught up with me. I had to take a little break coming back, and I could just see them down the trail. But yeah, back at the lake. A far in here with I guess there's a dam here. We still got to go back around. Alright, coming over the footbridge, take a right behind this little camp spot here. The trail's going to go up to where the parking area is, so that's where we're headed. Guess this is a primitive area or something, I don't know. Wouldn't be a bad area to come camp sometime. People fishing back there. Guy was saying he doesn't think there's any big fish left in that lake, so I don't know how the fishing's gonna be. All right. Back of the truck. .7, so 7.4 miles. Highly recommend this hike. The climb up to the Appalachian Trail is fairly easy going. Nothing terribly strenuous. So, first time hiker, somebody wanting to get into it, but you think has at least 7 miles in their day, bring them up here. Very, very good hike. Trail's nice. Today wasn't too hot, which helped. Humid, I mean, I sweat a lot, but I sweat a lot anyway. But yeah, a little parking area. Call it a day.